The Catacombs of Paris.
In the Paris Catacombs, there are 131 steps to go down and 112 steps to climb up. Therefore, unfortunately, this is one of the only attractions that is not suitable for wheelchair users, and it is not recommended for individuals with a motor disability, individuals with cardiac or respiratory problems, pregnant women, sensitive individuals, and children under 14 who must be accompanied by an adult. The direct confrontation with bones may be overwhelming.
How cool was it? Bloody hell, look at this, man.
The galleries you'll be walking through on your visit were hewn out of old limestone quarries. The limestone was used for buildings in Paris.
The rich mineral resources underneath Paris have been one of the city's major assets all through history since ancient times.
I wonder they filmed the horror down there, it's scary, isn't it?
In a few moments, you'll be entering the 800-metre-long labyrinth of this huge ossuary. Paris copied the name Catacombs from the ancient catacombs in Rome and Naples, where the Christians buried their dead in the first few centuries AD. The Paris catacombs were opened in the late 18th century to clean up the centre of Paris, where the overfull cemeteries were posing a growing health risk. For 13 centuries, Parisians who died in 22 of the city's parishes and bodies from the hospital and mortuary were buried in the Cemetery of the Innocents, near what is now the Forum des Halles. But the available space was limited.
As you enter the catacombs, a sign above reads Arrêtez, c'est ici l'Empire de la Mort, which means stop. This is the Empire of Death. The 1.5 kilometre walk of the tunnels takes around an hour to an hour and a half to explore, and it is very humid. You should wear some comfortable shoes and suitable clothes for this. The Catacombs of Paris are underground ossuaries in Paris, France, which holds the remains of more than 6 million people in a small part of a tunnel network built to consolidate Paris's ancient stone quarries.
When the decision was taken to clear out the Cemetery of the Innocents, Guillemot, the quarry inspector in charge of the reinforcement of the underground tunnels, was asked to find an appropriate site. He decided on the old quarries on the Montsouris plain at Dombissoir, outside Paris. On the 7th of April 1786, the catacombs were blessed and consecrated by the church authorities. The transfer of the bones could begin.
The history of the Paris catacombs starts in the late 18th century, when major public health issues tied to the city cemeteries led to a decision to transfer their contents to an underground site. The municipal ossuary, which is a container or room in which the bones of dead people are placed in the catacombs, is one of the world's largest and one of only a handful which is located underground.
The fountain of the Samaritan woman is a spring that was once used by the quarrymen. A small circular area was built around it, with walls made of bones from the Cemetery of the Innocents. The fountain takes its name from a story in the Gospel of St. John, in which Jesus stopped beside a well and entered into conversation with a Samaritan woman. When she questioned him, he answered in these words, which you can read on one of the pillars at the back.
Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life.
In November 1813, the fountain was used for a scientific experiment. 4 goldfish were placed in it. After 2 years, Henri Rol-Tanguy found that they had adapted to their new environment, but they had not reproduced. He also noted that the quarrymen believed the fish could predict changes in the weather, either remaining on the surface or going to the bottom of the pool. Since the temperature underground stayed constant all year round, he thought this unlikely to be true.
The catacombs in their first years were a disorganised bone respiratory, but before being opened to the public in 1809, it underwent an extensive decorative rearrangement under the auspices of Inspector Henri Rol-Tanguy, who transformed the site using a museogeographical and monumental approach. The bones, which had previously been loosely piled, were carefully organised into walls.
The facade consists of rows of tibia and skulls, with the remaining bones piled behind this wall. In addition to decorating the stacking of skulls and femurs into patterns seen in the catacombs today, Henri Rol-Tanguy also used any cemetery decorations he could find to complement the walls of bones. At first, the catacombs were open to the public by only appointment. Since their creation, the catacombs have aroused curiosity.
The Catacombs of Paris. They encourage visitors towards introspection and mediation on death. The subterranean galleries tell the story of the Parisian underground and how it was exploited until it was transformed into an ossuary in the 18th century. The Catacombs of Paris are more than just walls of skulls and bones. They are a cemetery, a resting place, and a sanctuary. They are also history, with educational purposes, and a place of peace and of reflection. The Paris Catacombs welcomes nearly 550,000 visitors yearly. We exit through the gift shop.
So we've just walked all the way through the French catacombs.
Not all the way through.
What do you mean?
We walked all the way through the publicly accessible bit.
Well, obviously. I mean, we're not rebels, are we, Axel?
No.
We're not going to walk through. We're not going to walk through the mega haunted bit where the demons live and asabovesobelow. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We're not going to get lost in there.
Exactly. We're not that brave. But, well, we are. But, we did walk all the way through the bits that we were allowed. And what did you think of it, Axel?
Absolutely. Loved it. Dream come true. It's a bit morbid, isn't it? It's a morbid dream.
Wasn't it creepy, man?
But still, it's a dream come true.
Were you expecting that many skulls?
Yeah, I knew exactly what it was.
No, but like, come on.
To be honest, you like...
It's overwhelming a little bit.
You
Like-
understand? Like, you know the facts. You read about it, and you hear billions, however many skulls. But to be in the middle of it
Exactly.
is like... How many skulls can you have?
Innit?
Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand how many people are in the world, but then to see that many skulls in front of your face, is crazy, and to think that it's real, or was real people.
It was real people, and they've just like put their skulls, like taken them away from their head, like away from their body, not put a name to it, and just made a great big decoration out of your skull. It's like, what the actual, you know what I mean?
Fair, though, it is beautiful.
Do you know what I mean?
wouldn't mind if my skull was in there contributing towards it, rather than just in an hole somewhere in the ground. Even though they are all nameless, I wouldn't mind to be added to it.
Pigeon.
There's a lot of heads with like holes in them there.
Yeah, I think that's
you
where
see
people
that?
were touching them.
You reckon?
Yeah, that's why it's like people, because you got to think how many years have they been accessible to the public, and how many idiots have just gone, look at this, boom, boom. Yeah. You know what I mean? Axl said to me, I want to look up some restaurants before we go. I said, all right, we'll do that before we go to bed or whatever. We're there for 2 hours. Axl's looked at 2 restaurants and just gone up and down on a map for about an hour. And there's about 100 restaurants. And he's there looking for all of them. And I said to him, look, Axl, we'll just look at whatever restaurants are there when we're there. I'm sure they'll all be fine.
You said, because I wanted to plan everything out, I wanted to know the routes of everywhere before I go. And after doing it for 3 hours, or 2 hours, you got upset and annoyed and took a bath and didn't speak about any of it again.
Yep, and I'll tell you exactly why.
And then you said, what you did say was, you don't need to research it, because when you know, you've got super senses and you'll just know.
Yep.
You'll just know where to go.
Did I not find our hotel on the way back?
And so now we're here.
Hold on.
I said, which way is it?
Yep.
You said, I don't know.
I never said, I will know exactly where to go when we're in Paris, don't you worry about that. Which is what he's
Very
making
much
out.
did.
I said, we'll find a restaurant that's nice. We'll ask the people at the hotel.
Did you?
Not yet. I'm not looking for somewhere to eat.
Today's the day we're going to be eating around the hotel.
Right. Did we not find a nice place to get soup?
No.
There you go.